It is a Saturday, and here I am. This is Brandon. I am here to inspire, encourage, uplift you to help you live your best, most fulfilling, and most abundant life. And today, I'm going to get really real with you and completely open up my heart and share with you 5 reasons that your relationship remains broken. And you guys can see that in my little explanation of this video that I talk about that these were the 5 reasons that my students hated me as an 8th grade language arts teacher. This is why my relationship with my family disintegrated when I actually came out of the closet. This is the reason why a lot of my supervisors at Kohl's did not like me when I was really young. And it's also why Dustin and I, a lot of people don't realize this, but Dustin and I, we were really close to divorce when he got his job at Caspers. We were in a really, really low spot. And it was these 5 reasons that really were disintegrating and breaking down my relationships. And the reason why this is so important on my heart is because I know that there are teachers out there who are struggling to make relationships with their students. There are parents who are struggling to relate to their kids if their kid is coming out as gay, or if their kid is not behaving the way that they want them to, if their kid has an addiction or a drug problem or whatever it is. Transversely, I know there are kids who are hurt that their parents are not accepting them for who they are, for being gay, or for whatever the case may be. And I know that there are marriages out there that are on the rocks where they're not able to relate to one another, and it's disintegrating and all the things. And so I am in the midst of creating the most personal course I've ever launched, and it'll be launching later on this month, called Tuning into Love: How to Restore Broken Relationships and Create New Ones. And I just really wanted to talk about this today. It was really put on my heart, and I wanted to go live because there's just a different energy when you go live versus when you pre-record things. And so that's what we're here to talk about today. We're talking about the five reasons why relationships remain broken in your life. And when you understand these reasons of why your relationships are broken, you are going to feel so much better because it's kind of like if the toilet doesn't work, or the air conditioning doesn't work, or your car doesn't work, and you discover why it doesn't work. Now you can figure out how to fix it, right? But you can't fix anything. You can't restore anything until you actually know the reason why it's broken down in the first place. And sometimes these things are easier to fix than others. Sometimes they take longer to fix. And sometimes you need to get a new car, or you need to get a new AC. And so I go in with this with a little bit of caution and saying that you can't control anybody or how they respond to you. And I think that's really, really important, that any relationship is about both people wanting to be in that relationship. But these things will definitely transform your relationships. Even if you have a relationship that's going really well in your life, knowing these 5 pitfalls will also help you with those relationships as well. So without further ado, let's get into the 5 reasons that relationships remain broken, or maybe I should say why they could be even better than they are right now. So the first one is that you are attached to expectation of the people around you. And this is one of those things that, part of a marriage, or part of a relationship with a teacher and students, or a mother and a daughter, a mother and son, or dad and son, however you want to label it. There are certain expectations that we place on one another. And I think it's really important to realize that we're all human. None of us are perfect. We're all growing. We're all learning. And sometimes we attach unfair expectations of other people. And I think it's really important to realize that for me personally, as an 8th grade language arts teacher, I put so much expectation on the amount of work that they put on their work effort in class that I never stopped to think about my first year, to think about what was going on at home with them. What was going on with their relationship with their parents? What was going on with their relationship with their peers? It's not to say that you shouldn't hold students to a standard or expectation, but you also have to be a human being. And the same thing goes with, marriage and relationships. Do you know that the number one reason, or that when a marriage has a child loss, when a child is lost in a marriage, 90% of those marriages end in divorce. And part of the reason is because expectations of how each individual parent should react in terms of the grief, expectations of who is responsible for it. And when my relationship with my mom and my dad and my sister coming out as gay, I had expectations of them, which was, if you really loved me, then you would be okay with my lifestyle. And if you really cared about me, you wouldn't share Bible verses with me. And if you really wanted me to be successful, you would be okay with me going to the circus. And I put all these expectations on them, and that, attaching expectations to people, you have to let that go. You just have to let expectations go of people, because we're all human. We're never perfect. And we all have our different perceptions. We all have our different beliefs. But when you attach expectations to someone and they don't act the way that you want them to do, you set yourself up for heartbreak, hurt, pain, all the things. And the reason why is because you, and in essence, are telling them how they should act or how they should behave, because they have to meet your expectations. Otherwise, they're not good. And, likewise, parents do the same thing of their kids. If you don't get an A and meet our expectations, then you are not taking school seriously, as opposed to taking a step back and asking, what exactly is going on in their life? Even if it's they're not wanting to study and you want them to study, is there another reason why that they're not studying? I mean, it's true, they could just be perfectly lazy, right? But even then, there's a reason why behind it, and we don't ever stop to ask the reason why. So number one is you're attached to expectation. The second reason is, it goes into the expectation, is you're actually trying to control them. None of us like to be controlled. And the best way I can explain this in terms of relationships is when you give them, you have to do this or this, right? Like, if you really loved me, you would clean the dishes every night. If you really love me, you would buy the thing. If you really love me as a son or daughter, you would get me the car, or you would buy me the cell phone. Or we do this to our parents. If you really love me, you would be okay with the person that I'm dating. You would be okay, right? This is all us trying to control the other person. And imagine if we were all walking around with like leashes. Like literally, like, imagine you put a leash on your parent or your son or daughter, or you put a leash on someone that works underneath you at work, and you were like, I'm going to control you. You have to go this way. You have to go that way. That feels terrible. That feels completely shitty. Nobody wants to be controlled that way, right? So when you're trying to control someone in a relationship, you're giving this negative energy, because we are not meant to be controlled as human beings. We are meant to give love and receive love. And love is not controlling, because controlling is manipulative. And so if you're trying to control people in your life, you're trying to control your kids, your students in the classroom, you're trying to control your son or daughter, you're trying to control your husband or wife, that is negative energy, because you're just trying to put a dog collar and a leash on them, saying you have to behave this way in order for me to love you. And that's not what love is, because love is completely unconditional. Love is that regardless of what you're doing, I'm going to love you anyway. I mean, that's the principle of love in the Bible, is it not? It is that love is God's grace, and it's by grace you've been saved, not because you've earned it or you've deserved it or anything else. So you got to stop trying to control other people in relationships. The third reason why your relationships remain broken, in addition to expectations and trying to control, is you're assigning meaning to everything. You're assigning meaning to how the people in your relationships are responding to you. I did this with my students as an 8th grade teacher. If they didn't do one of the work, I said, they don't respect me, and they don't care about themselves, and they're not trying to do a good job. And I was like completely disregarding anything that could have been going on at home with them, with their parents, whether they have been abused, neglected, or they didn't have like AC, and they like having a student that falls asleep in class. Oh, well, they're just being, rude. They're just being jerks when they didn't have AC for the last week and they can't sleep at night because it's too hot in their room. Or you assign meaning, and believers and non-believers do this all the time to one another, especially in terms of relationships with kids who come out as being gay and their parents are very strong evangelicals. There's nothing wrong with either side of those things, right? But the kids assign meaning to the parents not being okay with them being gay as, you don't love me, you don't care about me. When the perspective of the parent is, I love you so much, this is why I'm trying to save you. Now that's force, just to reinforce, that's forcing. You shouldn't be forcing someone to be saved, because now you're trying to control them and they're gonna run, okay? But the idea is that you are assigning meaning to their belief as they don't love you. And likewise, the kids, and I did this to my parents, is I assign meaning to the belief as they're a bad parent, they don't care about me, they don't really love me, and they're trying to send me to hell. When from my parents' perspective, they're trying to send me to heaven. And then they assign meaning to me not obeying them, right? Because I'm going to be gay, I'm going to be who I am, that I don't value their opinion, or I don't value their belief system, or that I don't appreciate what they've done for me in the past. But either way, we're assigning meaning to each other that is not helpful in terms of our relationships. And the only people that assign meaning are ourselves. Do you guys understand that? We are the ones that assign meaning. I assign meaning to my parents as, you're trying to send me to hell. My parents, and I don't know for a fact what they assign meaning to, because I'm not them, but I could imagine how many parents would assign meaning of, they don't care what I have to say. They don't value or appreciate my opinion. They're doing this to get back at me for whatever reason. And like, I know for example, like I wasn't honest about coming out for a long time because I was so scared of the relationship disintegrating. And fear is something to talk about in a later situation. But, because I wasn't honest with them when I started having, attraction to men, is they thought that me not telling them was, I'm a liar, and I don't, if I really cared about them, I would have been honest with them. And from my perspective, it's like, but I was so scared of losing you all. It's just why I didn't tell you. And then the relationship disintegrated anyway, for all these reasons we're talking about right now. Now the fourth reason is that you're judging. And that's really what you're doing. When you start to assign meaning to people, you are judging their actions as either right or wrong. And you are assigning that meaning. And judgment, basically, when you're judging somebody, you are in reality, you're judging yourself. Because what you're actually saying is, you're saying that you don't love me because XYZ, and because you don't love me for XYZ, I'm going to hold a grudge against you, basically. And what you're actually doing is, you are in agreement with that. And that's what so many people don't realize, is that you have agreements with people. And if you're in agreement with them, yes, you don't love me because you think I'm going to hell and you're trying to send me to hell. You don't love me because you're not doing your classwork. You don't love me because in Dustin and I's relationship, when he got laid off and he got this amazing job for Caspers, I was so filled with anger and hostility because I had the college degree, I had my master's, and why was I not getting the same opportunity that he was? It was from a complete disgusting place of lack of, and that's what jealousy is. Jealousy is they have something that I can't have, but a place of lack and contempt and all these things. And what happens is, that's the energy I was sending out to him. And that's a horrible energy to send in any kind of a relationship or marriage. And I was judging him why are you not giving to me? Like, why are you rising up? Why aren't you helping me? Why aren't you being there for me? And I was doing all this judging, but in fact, it was all about me, which was, Brandon, why are you saying you're not good enough to get a job? Why are you saying that what he is better than you? Why are you saying all these things about yourself? It was actually me judging myself. Judgment is actually always comes back to you. And so many people don't realize that. And who wants to be in a relationship of judgment, right? When you're judging your kid, judging your mom, judging your dad, judging whoever, who wants to be in that relationship of judgment? Nobody wants to be in a relationship of judgment. And when you can let go of judgment, you open yourself up to healing, that is actually what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is actually acceptance of what has happened. And now we're going to get back to number 5, which is you're actually holding on to the past. And this is so crazy to know this, but we have memories in our brain. And these memories leave emotional imprints. When we have any kind of traumatic experience, like for me, getting outed before I was ready in the circus, I will never forget it because I was so in denial of the fact that I was gay. I had made every excuse in the book of being in a relationship with Dustin on the circus. The things that I would say was, I'm not gay, I just like you, or I'm not into men, I just like you. Like this one relationship, does it mean anything? Because I can always, if it doesn't work out, I can go back to dating women. Like I had all these excuses in my head and I was in complete denial. And when I saw the article about the gay clowns in the circus and me listed as Dustin's boyfriend, I couldn't deny it anymore who I was. And that was like such this crazy, horrible, and I felt so much guilt and shame because I believed everything that I had been taught and perceived about being gay growing up, which is disgusting, it's shameful, and all the things. But the idea of this is that you put emotional imprints in your brain, and even your memories you assign meaning to, and your memories change over time. And there's some relationships that I know some of you all that are watching right now that you haven't talked to someone in years, whether it is a husband-wife relationship, you got divorced and you haven't talked to in years, whether it is with your son or daughter or whatever, you haven't talked in years, and you can't even remember what the fight was about. You can't even remember it. You just know, like, I'm angry. And it's because you're holding on to the emotions of the past and you're not letting them go. And the only way that you can let go of the past is to forgive the past, forgive the other person. There's actually this Hawaiian, you can call it Hawaiian meditation, Hawaiian prayer, Hokumononono. Did I say that right? I don't know if I said that right. But basically this prayer is I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what I did to you. I forgive you for what you did to me. Thank you. And I love you. It's like 4 pieces. And this psychiatrist who was a psychiatrist in Hawaii actually went to an insane asylum, and he actually prayed this prayer for over like all the people for like day after day after day. And there was a dramatic improvement of them. And forgiveness is such a powerful thing. Forgiveness is not saying what happened is okay. It's not invalidating your feelings or emotions. Acceptance is simply accepting what happened and letting it go. Which brings me to the little ditty here, which is let go of expectation, let go of trying to control, let go of assigning meaning, let go of judgment, let go of the past. When you start to let go of all of these things, if you think about it as like you have like a string that's attached to you and the other person, right? And these strings are the judgments, these strings are the past, these strings are all those things. And when you can finally let go of the strings, now you're free. You're free to start afresh in your relationship. You're free to be completely new. So I hope this video just inspired, uplifted, and encouraged so many of you. If you're just now joining this video, go back to the beginning, watch the whole entire thing. It's absolutely amazing. It's one of the best videos. I think it's the best video I've ever done. And this is so important because check the links in the description because I have a 7-day relationship challenge. I encourage you all to start that challenge today. These are baby steps toward really understanding how you can strengthen and rebuild and grow your relationships. And I am launching an amazing course called Tuning into Love later this month, how to restore broken relationships and create new ones. It's going to be an amazing course, and it's going to be different because we're going to do everything live. We're going to do everything live. So you're going to be able to ask questions when I teach the material. This isn't going to be just a pre-recorded course. And it's going to be absolutely insane and amazing. And the course is going to be 6 to 8 weeks. I'm still fleshing out there's so much new material I'm putting into this course, and I'm so excited about it. Much love to you all. Remember, you are more beautiful than you think. You're more successful than you realize, and you're more loved than you can ever imagine. My name is Brandon, and I want you to hit that like, subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're watching on Facebook, go over and subscribe to YouTube so you don't miss any of the videos. And if you're on YouTube watching it, go over to our private Facebook group. And I hope you all have an amazing weekend. Bye-bye.